you know, there's some things that just go together. Red velvet and cream cheese are a perfect match. I've created a little twist on the classic idea of red velvet cake and cream cheese frosting, where each bite takes you back to a piece of childhood nostalgia that you're going to absolutely enjoy. This is my recipe for red velvet Twinkies. We start with making a delicious and moist red velvet recipe, and once we pop it in the mold, that's all she wrote. Then it's time for delicious whipped cream cheese filling for the center of each Twinkie. It's super easy to make, and stuffing each Twinkie is just as much fun as eating. And of course, everything we do, you know, it's got to be simple, easy, delicious, and just good food. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started. We're making red velvet Twinkies. I know, right? So excited. So this is going to start just like I do pretty much any other sort of red velvet cake, if you will. I'm going to start by adding in my oil. And this recipe obviously will be up at DariusCooks.com. So are a bevy of other recipes, so please be sure to check that out. Put our oil in just like that, alright? Super simple, by the way. No mixers. Well, we will need a mixer for the filling, but for this cake part, it's super simple and very easy to do, alright? So oil in, and I'm going to go ahead and drop in some buttermilk. So I'm going to measure out 1.5 cups of buttermilk. This is going to be great. It's going to go in just like that. And then to this, we got to sweeten up the sugar match. So I'm going to add in a little bit of sugar, not a little bit, but enough. I'm going to add in 2 cups of sugar. See if I can do this without making a mess. Alright, so here's 1 cup. Right, just like that. And then here's the other cup of sugar. And I gotta tell you, this is a tried and true recipe. I've tried it over and over again. I've compared it to other red velvet recipes, and this one, I gotta tell you, it just comes out on top. So you gotta give it a try. And it's super easy, right? You just pretty much dump everything into a bowl. All the sort of normal things. So I'm using buttermilk because what buttermilk does is it's gonna react in this mixture with the baking soda, and it's going to leave a really nice, light, velvety taste on the tongue, hence the word red velvet cake. Alright? But you can flavor this up a bunch of different ways. We're going to put in some red food coloring and chocolate, which turns into red velvet, but hey, leave out the red food coloring, leave out the chocolate, and you just got a really great sort of classic vanilla cake that's going to be even amazing that way as well. So the choice is yours. Take it, run with it, do with it what you may. I give you permission. Okay? So, in go a little bit of 2 eggs we put in. I'm going to add in our red food coloring, a couple drops of that, and some vanilla, because you want the flavor to really sort of come out. It's a chocolate cake, but a little bit of vanilla helps bump up that chocolate flavor, and it tastes really good. Give this a stir, just like this. All right, and this is super easy to do. I didn't really grow up eating a whole lot of cake. But I gotta tell you, once I discovered what it was, I'm all in. We didn't really have bakers in my house. We sort of had like store-bought stuff. I'm more of a meat and potatoes kind of guy, which is why in the vlog you mainly see a lot of like dishes for dinner and lunch. I don't really see a lot of sweet stuff because I just didn't grow up eating a lot of sweet stuff. But when I got my hands on this recipe, let me tell you, it's so super simple to do and so easy, you can't even mess it up. It's super, super easy. So what I just did was after combining the eggs and the vanilla and the red food coloring, I'm just going to stir in some salt to help bring out the flavor, and then a little bit of baking soda to help with our baking. Now I've got some unsweetened cocoa powder. I'm going to put in a couple tablespoons of that. Right? As chocolatey as you like it. If you like it more chocolatey, add more chocolate. It's up to you. And then 2 cups of flour are going to go in. Alright, so here's 1 without making a mess. Alright, and this is the other. And look at me. I didn't make a mess. Alright. Get out of the way. And I just want to come in here and get it a stir And can we say that's it? That's all she wrote? That's the recipe, I know. So what's great about these is they bake up in really no time at all. And it's really quick to make these. We're gonna make this delicious cream cheese filling that goes on the inside with just some cream and some cream cheese and some vanilla and some sugar. It's gonna be really good. And we're gonna have Twinkies, right? Who knew you could even make Twinkies from scratch? No more of that store-bought stuff with all the preservatives. We got this to worry about now. And these travel well, so taking these to the office is gonna be great. Taking them to a party with friends is gonna be great. Now, you don't want to overmix this. So I mixed it until it just sort of came together. That's really it. That's all you want to do, right? Just like that. That looks really good to me. And I've got molds here. And the idea that our oven is preheated at 350, but the idea is to just sort of come in here and grab some of the filling and put it right in the mold. So I'm going to do one to show you. And I'm going to go ahead and knock the rest of them out. So I'm going to go about halfway up to give them some room to move around. And that's it. So that's one. I'm going to go ahead and knock out the rest of these. So we got our Twinkies off in the oven. I've got get ready, get set up tools of the trade to make the filling. And what I'm gonna do, I got extra batter left over. I'm gonna go ahead and just wrap it in plastic and put it off in the fridge. This keeps for a couple days, so you know, if you wanna come home from a long day at the office and you want something quick, this is great as cupcakes, great as a cake, or great as Twinkies, right? So this can go off to the side. I've got the ingredients ready for our filling. I got some cream cheese. I'm gonna get some sugar whipped into this, a little bit of heavy cream, and then some of our vanilla. And I'm gonna whip it till it's super, super, super smooth. And we're gonna have filling for these Twinkies. It's gonna be amazing. So that filling is it's done. Only 4 ingredients, come on. You know, it's the cream cheese, the sugar, vanilla, and I stream in a little bit of that heavy cream to sort of give it a nice mouthfeel. Super easy to do, you can do it, all right? A couple more tools of the trade. I have a tip for piping, right? And then I've got a piping bag. So this is what I'm gonna do. Put our tip in, right? You get this at like the baking section of like, you know, one of your big box stores, or if you order one online, you'll be good. I'm gonna roll this back, and I'm gonna go ahead and put in a little bit of this cream filling. Talk about looking good. Talk about being fantastic, right? And if you've ever looked at the underside of a Twinkie, there's these 3 holes where they fill them at. That's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna twist it off. I'm gonna pull out just a little bit to make sure we get all the air out. And look at our red velvet Twinkies, all right? These baked up, really super simple, super easy to do, right? They look just like Twinkies, who knew? So I'm gonna come in under one, and I'm gonna stuff a little bit of frosting, and I'm gonna push it in there, right? You can sort of feel it, so you know it's going all throughout your cake, just like that, right? And then we've got a Twinkie done. I'm gonna do this one. 1, 2, 3. I'm doing one more. Then I gotta taste this. Alright, so here we go. There's 1, 2, 3. And be creative, you know. You can do carrot cake Twinkies. I bet all chocolate Twinkies with like a chocolate frosting would be great. You can play around. This would be fantastic. So let me give this a taste. Where the ends are, the frosting is all throughout. But the cream is on the inside. That buttermilk gives it such a nice flavor, a nice light mouthfeel. It's chocolatey, it's red velvet. This is a perfect red velvet Twinkie, all right? I'm putting the recipe online for you. It's gonna be at DariusCooks.com. 2 things I gotta tell you. Food is my life is my food. Until next time, I wanna wish you happy cooking. From my heart to yours.